They did the impossible: killing, robbing, running entire markets, all while staying invisible. For decades, they managed to outsmart the police and everyone around them. But one small mistake ruined everything. And these are the three biggest mistakes that ruined it all. Number 3, BTK Killer, the man caught by a floppy disk. For nearly 30 years, a model citizen lived in Wichita, Kansas. A family man, a father, an active church member, a scout leader, a municipal inspector. His name was Dennis Rader. The police knew him by another name: BTK, bind, torture, kill. But for a long time, these two names never intersected. BTK committed his first murder in 1974. He broke into the Otero family home and killed 4 people, including 2 children. What followed were years of hunting. Rader carefully selected his victims, mostly women, sometimes entire families. He studied houses, routines, and routes in advance. BTK did not act impulsively, he planned. After the murders, he wrote letters to the police and newspapers, detailing his feats. He added diagrams, photographs, and sometimes personal items of the victims. He demanded attention. He is credited with 10 confirmed murders committed between 1974 and 1991. And then, silence. In the early 1990s, Rader simply stopped. Family, work, community life. The police assumed BTK had either died or was in prison for another crime. In reality, he hadn't gone anywhere. He was simply confident he had won. For decades, he lived quietly, knowing he had not been caught. And that became the problem. In 2004, after 13 years of silence, BTK resurfaced. He began sending letters and packages to the media and police. Not because he wanted to kill again, but because he wanted to be remembered. In one letter, he asked the police, "Can information from a floppy disk be traced?" He got an answer through a newspaper. "No, the disk is safe." The police lied. Rader believed them. In February 2005, BTK sent a floppy disk. It contained a Microsoft Word document. The file was deleted, but the metadata remained. It included the username, Dennis, and the organization, Christ Lutheran Church. After that, it was a matter of technical work. Police checked the church, they found Dennis Rader. They investigated his past. Soon, Rader's DNA was compared with samples taken from his daughter via a medical record. The match was exact. In February 2005, Dennis Rader was arrested. During interrogation, he quickly broke down. He detailed all the murders with dates, methods, and specifics only he could know. In court, he confessed to all the episodes. Sentence: 10 consecutive life sentences. Number 2, Silk Road. The faceless marketplace brought down by one man. In the early 2000s, a website appeared on the internet that newspapers didn't write about and TV didn't report on. At first glance, on a normal online marketplace. Categories, seller ratings, reviews, customer support. The difference was one thing. On this site, you could buy drugs, fake documents, malware, and illegal services, anonymously from anywhere in the world. The project was called Silk Road. The creator was Ross Ulbricht, a university graduate, a libertarian, and a man who sincerely believed that the government should not interfere in private trade. He didn't see himself as a criminal. He saw himself as an ideologist. Silk Road ran through the Tor network. Payments were made in bitcoins and servers constantly changed. Buyers and sellers never knew each other. The administrator hid under the pseudonym Dread Pirate Roberts. By 2013, the site's turnover had reached hundreds of millions of dollars. Silk Road became the largest illegal marketplace in the history of the internet. From a technical point of view, everything was done competently. Anonymity, encryption, no direct links. The market regulated itself. Bad sellers got low ratings, good sellers earned more. For law enforcement, Silk Road seemed like a myth. They knew the site existed, but they didn't know who was behind it. And if it had been only about the code, this story could have ended differently. Ross Ulbricht didn't make a mistake as a programmer. He made a mistake as a human. Long before Silk Road launched, on old forums, he wrote posts about creating an anonymous market without government, using his real name, with the same ideas and writing style. Later, he continued discussing Silk Road, now under pseudonyms but with the same vocabulary and thought patterns. The FBI didn't hack the system. They linked the text. When agents narrowed the circle to Ulbricht, all that remained was to wait for a real-world mistake. In October 2013, Ross was arrested in a San Francisco library. He was sitting at a laptop with the Silk Road admin panel open. The computer was seized powered on, no chance to encrypt it. On the device, they found correspondence with moderators, site administration logs, financial data, personal notes, everything that connected the mythical Dread Pirate Roberts to a real person. In 2015, Ross Ulbricht was found guilty. Sentence: life in prison without the possibility of parole. Silk Road was shut down. Copies appeared. New markets appeared, but none of them were the same. On January 22, 2025, he was pardoned by the President of the United States. Number 2. Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman. In a New Jersey suburb lived a tall, quiet man with a neat beard and a family. A wife, 3 children, a nice house, a reputation as a respectable middle-class citizen. Neighbors thought he was a bit reserved, but overall, ordinary. No one knew that this man made a living killing people. Richard Kuklinski was one of the most brutal and at the same time most unnoticed contract killers in U.S. history. He was born in 1935 into a poor family. His father was an alcoholic, regularly beating the children. His younger brother died from abuse, though it was reported as an accident. Another brother became a rapist and murderer. The streets became Kuklinski's only school. At 14, he killed a local bully, beating him to death during a fight. And he learned the most important lesson: violence isn't always punished if no one is watching. As he grew up, Kuklinski married and tried to live a normal life. But he had no education and no career prospects. Killing, however, he had already mastered. Through street connections, he reached the Italian-American Mafia. First the DeCavalcante family, later the crew of Roy DeMeo, one of New York's most ruthless mob bosses. His first test was simple. DeMeo stopped a car, pointed at a random passerby, and then ordered him to kill. Kuklinski approached and shot the man in the back of the head. After that, the work became constant. Kuklinski had no single signature. He shot, poisoned, exploded, strangled, and set people on fire. Sometimes he froze bodies to confuse experts about time of death. Once a piece of ice was found inside a victim, and thus he earned the nickname the Iceman. He worked for decades, received tens of thousands of dollars per hit, all the while living in a way that didn't draw attention. His wife and children didn't know his real job until this arrest. He claimed he earned his money through business. For a long time, police had nothing against him. No witnesses, no weapons, no direct evidence. In the 1980s, the FBI planted an undercover agent, Dominic Polifrone. The agent posed as a man who could supply cyanide and was looking for a professional for a job. Kuklinski agreed. He met the agent in person, discussed terms, planned to buy poison for a future killing. 2 hours after the meeting, he was arrested. Weapons were found in his car. The agent's testimony was enough to press charges. In 1988, Richard Kuklinski was sentenced to multiple life terms. Later, his sentence was extended after confessions to additional murders. He willingly gave interviews, spoke to psychiatrists, and became the subject of books and films. But he never saw freedom again. In 2006, the Iceman died in prison of natural causes. These stories show that even the smartest criminals can be defeated by a single mistake. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories about criminals and their fatal errors.